Every great creative work stands on the shoulders of giants. Welcome to RetroInspection, where we examine and find out where the things we love today came from.
Stevenson is reputed to have used cocaine, which, if we remember from Sherlock Holmes, was an over-the-counter item in Victorian England, just as laudanum and other opiate preparations. You just walk into the drugstore. Hi, I would like some cocaine, please, and a syringe. They send you on the door out your happy way.
Well, in his defense, he suffered from probably a lifelong infection.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Or
you're going to get in those kind of conditions, yeah.
Right. So he needed some relief, and the cocaine probably supplied that. So as the son of devout Presbyterians, I think his father might have even been a pastor. This was kind of a rebellion for him. So I think eventually he did become an atheist, or
for a time. It looks like, yeah.
Yeah, confessed that to his father, and it was a big disappointment, etc., etc. I think later in life, as most people end up doing, he came back to some kind of faith. This is an allegory, and allegories are meant to tell us, as readers, what not to do. So this is an example of, hey, don't experiment with this concoction, this science, this drug, to reveal your animal inner self, because it will be revealed to you. And ultimately, Jekyll loses the ability to control Hyde's appearance with the drug.
Yeah, it's also an addiction.
And that's what ends the sad tale. And most of these Gothic novels are allegories. I mean, you look at Frankenstein. Hey, you guys, you medical or researchers, you body snatchers, please don't do this, because you don't know where this is going to go.
Speaking of
right, and our science fiction and horror tales of today are very much the same. So one of the themes that that I found interesting in this was the idea that Dr. Jekyll would be revealing his more carnal nature as a homosexual in Victorian England. And apparently Robert Louis Stevenson, if he may have been homosexual himself, he was friends with several gay people who had to renounce their own religious nature and go into hiding, etc. So it's an interest in that way. It's interesting, but it's also could be a tale about the nature of good and evil in man. Although I read on the Wikipedia that Nabokov, a famous writer and of Lolita fame, claimed that this was not a tale about good and evil, because Dr. Jekyll was never really good. So he couldn't elucidate the good nature of humanity, because he was already experimenting with these things. He didn't reject the things that he obviously wanted to do. He wanted to carouse. He wanted to do these things, right? So
and that's something I was planning to get into, because he's not a victim. This is a self-own. So you don't feel a hell of a lot of sympathy for this guy, because he's the one with like malice aforethought who threw the switch on himself. I mean, this isn't even like somebody, starting to drink too much over time and they lose control of their consumption for whatever reason, they do that, that's in the form of like an accident. This is not an accident that happened to him. He ran himself over with a car.
Well, on that idea, do you think this might have been a confession by Robert Louis Stevenson about his own addiction?
And I don't know. See, I don't know without doing a hell of a lot more research, I don't know what biographical evidence there is for that.
Okay. Well, we do know that he.
I'm sorry. Go.
Well, we do know that he wrote this novel while sick, so he probably was self-medicating. And there's some talk that his wife, who was also a writer of some fame herself, read the original draft and told him it was junk. And so he, in a frenzy, spent 3 straight days rewriting it, and then came up with
after burning the original
purported to be right, which is purported to be a masterpiece. We'll talk about that later. Now, I find that to be that idea that his wife would do that to be strange. I don't think that he would. First of all, if he's a cocaine addict, are you really gonna? I mean, I've been around several in my life. You're really not going to tell them anything if they're going to pay attention.
No, they're too busy. They're too busy talking.
Right, or believing that their ideas are a product of omniscience.
Yeah, they're telling you about they want to start. So yeah, you're never going to get a word in.
Like, subscribe, repost, share everywhere. To see what else we're up to, visit xynobooks.com, xenobooks.com.